By way of reintroduction, I had the privilege for 15 years working for two companies that own Souza Tequila. And about 10 years ago, I took a departure from the industry and went and worked for a global engineering company. But I have fond memories of my time working with the Tequila Regulatory Council and the Tequila Chamber, and having the opportunity to represent such a great brand in Souza Tequila. And in my role today, I have the great privilege of representing many great tequilas and many great brands: cognac, American whiskey, vodka, across the board. I am proud and I have great spirit for the agave region of Guadalajara, and I'm glad to be back. I haven't been in Guadalajara for about 10, 11 years, so I'm glad to be back, and it's an honor for me to present to you all. The Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, it is essentially the leading distilled spirits industry trade association in the United States. And our job is to represent and advocate for the interests of all of our member companies, but really advocate in the United States for the interests of beverage alcohol and distilled spirits worldwide. We are very, very committed to advocating and promoting the responsible consumption of our products. But one of our big missions is to advocate for consumer convenience. So in the United States, the regulatory regime in the United States is fairly complex, where you have 50 states, and the regulatory regimes can be very, very complex. Our job at the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States is to make sure our consumers can enjoy all of our products when they want and where they want, but also to do it in a responsible way and make sure that all of our consumers are enjoying our fine brands responsibly. So for the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, we represent a variety of great companies. Some of them are multinational, some of them are of American. Many of them have the opportunity to promote tequila within their own companies. Interesting enough, as I've been out of the industry for the last 10 years, one of the great developments that has happened while I was away is the emergence of craft distillers in the United States. And you'll see many of our craft distillers right downstairs promoting American whiskey and bourbon. So with this emergence of craft distillers, that has been terrific for the entire industry, because it's really broadening the recognition of distilled spirits. So we have a craft distiller membership program, 75 plus members, and it's very important for me that the Distilled Spirits Council is poised not only to represent the interest of our larger companies, but really to advocate for our craft distillers as well. That is very, very critically important as I settle into my role. Additionally, we just announced plans to broaden our membership to bring in our supply chain partners, whether it's the barrel makers or if it's the bottlers and so forth. What we're going to try to do at DISCUS, and I've been in my role for about 5 months, is really to broaden our political equity, right? And the more we can make the Distilled Spirits Council a more inviting organization for all in the industry to participate, that will help us be greater advocates for our industry's interests. So with the partner program, we're looking to bring on those that are affiliated with the industry to help bring our great products to market. So an important point in what we're celebrating about this week is the recognition and the importance of distinctive products in the United States. As this slide showcases, the United States recognizes many important distinctive products. Cognac, of course, champagne, tequila, of course. So the distinct products, what's unique about it is in the United States, it is amounted to a third of all the sales and consumption in the United States. So distinctive products are very, very important. 50% of the revenue in the United States are applied to distinct products. 55% of them are imports, and that's critically important. So I believe that as I settle into my role, one of my mandates is to advocate and to protect distinctive products from all around the world on behalf of all of our members. So there's been great growth with distinctive products, great growth in tequila, which I'll talk about. Other distinctive products, bourbon, rye, Scotch, Irish whiskey, cognac, American whiskey. U.S. volume is up 2.2% in 2018, up 5 million cases to 231 million cases. So in the United States, the spirits market is enjoying great growth. Tequila, now this is a great story. Volumes are up 7.6% to 18.1 million cases. 1.2 million new cases in 2018. Supplier revenues are up by 10% to $2.9 billion. 10 million cases added just in the last 15 years. Premium products, 100% agave, are growing the fastest. American whiskeys have enjoyed great growth. Volume is up 6.4% to 21.2 million cases. Revenue is up, and rye whiskey, the volume is up as well by 15%. So in the United States, there is a great deal of momentum for American whiskey. And we do hope the momentum for American whiskey continues to gain traction here in the great country of Mexico. Canadian whiskey has been a relatively flat market, but 17.4 million cases. Scotch, single malt Scotch, blended Scotch, single malt Scotch is up 7.6%, 2.3 million cases. So great growth for Scotch. Irish whiskey is another one that is enjoying great growth in the United States. 10.2%, up to 4.7 million cases. Revenue is up by 12%. The volumes are really concentrated in the premium and super premium products. One of the trends that we're seeing in the United States are consumers are trading up. So premium, super premium, and that includes in tequila as well. Cognac, the volumes are up by 12.5% to 6.4 million cases. Revenues are up by 14.2%. Again, the volumes are concentrated in premium and super premium categories. Bourbon and Tennessee whiskey, American-made, globally recognized. Made from corn, at least 51% corn, wheat, rye, and barley. Must be made in the United States in accordance to U.S. laws and regulations. New charred oak barrels, no additives. Recognized as a distinctive U.S. product in the EU, Mexico, of course, in countries all around the world. Key to U.S. spirits export successes, American whiskeys, 67% of the total by value and 50% by volume. There is a global fascination going on around the world on American bourbon. I'm proud to say our first president, George Washington, was a distiller himself. Had a distillery at Mount Vernon. And if you ever visit Washington, D.C., it is worth the visit to visit his distillery there and to visit the Mount Vernon plantation. We are in the United States exporting the cocktail culture, I think, all around the world. The great thing about bourbon in American whiskey is it's versatile and it's mixable. Global spirits and whiskey exports are up 9.5%. Now, getting back to the craft American whiskey and the craft distilleries, this is the great opportunity that we have for our industry in the United States. 42 states export American whiskey all around the world. And that is terrific in terms of broadening our political reach in the United States, right? The jobs that we're creating, the economic vitality that we're creating in all these states around the country. Top 10 export markets for American whiskey in 2018, UK, Spain, France, primarily concentrated in Europe, but Japan, and hopefully at some point, one day, we'll get our Mexico on that list as well. The importance of EU whiskey market in the United States. It's significant. The United States is a big, big market for European whiskey. The U.S.-Mexico-Canadian trade agreement, following up on the North American free trade agreement. I think we're all aware of this, and we're all very, very excited about hopefully the U.S. Congress passing the USMCA, hopefully sometime this summer. The Distilled Spirits Council of the United States is going to do all we can to do our part to make sure the U.S. Congress gets this over the finish line. We recognize at DISCUS the critical, important relationship between the United States and our friends in Mexico. And the unique thing about NAFTA, it was the first time it removed tariffs. And since that time, we have enjoyed great growth in tequila, great growth in whiskey, bourbon, tequila, Tennessee whiskey, and so forth. So a couple of things that we're working on to try to get passed is through the new agreement is a commitment by Mexico to begin its process to recognize American whiskey. And we look forward to working with our Mexican partners with that. And a chapter on certification and labeling for distilled spirits. DISCUS is working to secure the approval by the U.S. Congress, and we hope over the next couple of months we can get that done. Tequila exports to the U.S. Now check this out. This is probably the most awesome slide that we're showing. Since 1998, 980%. That is great. That is great for the Guadalajara region, the Agave region, and so forth. So really just digest that and take that in. And we want to keep that going. And part of that is the great partnership and the great relationships that the Distilled Spirits, the Tequila Chamber, and the Regulatory Council, Tequila Regulatory Council has enjoyed over the years. And as I settle into my role, I want to make sure that we continue this work. Again, as I mentioned, I also lead an organization called responsibility.org. So first and foremost, in everything that we do, it's a commitment to responsibility. We invest millions and millions of dollars to prevent drunk driving and underage drinking, and really promote what's great about our great business, and that's making friends and having fun and enjoying our great products with great meals and so forth. So I did want to highlight that we're very invested in this in the United States. And in my past life, we used to work very, very closely with Seville and FISAC, and I think we all agree that promoting responsibility is a big component of what our industry has to do. Not only in responsibility and the enjoyment of beverage alcohol, but also as it relates to sustainability and protecting the environment. So I would say on behalf of the Distilled Spirits Council, we are very, very proud to be here, and wearing my agave tie, agave tie. So I am very proud